friends to us, and as if they did not have any interest in us. And the other people, they were also influenced as a result of the opposition, and nobody was listening and caring for us. There were some Ahmadi students, and they found some place because they were Africans, and they took our luggage and they found some place there, and we were both wandering out in the jungle, and with the Lebanese merchants we met some of the people there. Anyway, finally a Lebanese Muslim, and we spoke to him in Arabic. He was very pleased with our Arabic language, and then he agreed. We started doing some tabligh there, and he also offered the food to us. But after 10 o'clock we left this place. We made the promise that we will give you the literature. He didn't ask where are you going, nor we told him that where we are going. And we just sat by the side of the river, and the whole area, it was filled with very poisonous snakes and animals, ferocious animals. And there was crocodile there. They used to attack the people, and such accidents were very common. Allah Almighty has mercy upon them, and we were protected from all attacks from any type of animals, and they couldn't sleep in that condition. So they continued to walk to and fro outside the village. And then we sat at midnight by the side of the river, and we started reciting the Quran to one another, and then we continued talking on religious matters. And then after some time, and then he led the prayer, very fervent prayer, that may Allah guide these people and help them to understand Islam and Ahmadiyyat, and for the progress of Islam and Ahmadiyyat he prayed. And then he started moving around again and again. At 3 o'clock, then we got up so that we should go to a mosque and offer the Tahajjud prayer. When we entered into the mosque, then these Muslims, the mosque of these Muslims, then in the darkness we heard very strange voices, and then there was a herd of sheeps, the goats, which came out of the mosque. And then then we cleaned the mosque and spread the prayer mats, and then we did the azan one by one, turn by turn. And after that the people started coming, the non-Muslims also started coming, and those Muslims who were the great leaders, they also came, that it should not be that these people might have given him the place and they might have occupied our mosque. So anyway, we offered the prayer. These people looked on us, and then they said that then they saw that there is no difference, and there is nothing different. The only difference is that the Ahmadis always fold their hands, and the majority of the people were from Maliki, and they offer the prayer leaving their hands unfolded on both sides. So that was the point. Introduction was there. So the opposition did not diminish, but anyway, they permitted us to offer the prayer and did not stop them from offering the prayer. And after offering the prayer, they came back. So they went through this difficult time, but later on, by the grace of Allah Almighty, the Ahmadiyyat was established, and it expanded there, it spread there. So this the real understanding, the full perception of religion, this is what our missionaries attained. So a missionary has to offer the sacrifice of his desires, and one has to face difficulties and difficult situations. And sometime, as I mentioned, that even today we see this type of examples, but the new missionaries joining our community, and the missionaries and the members of the Waqf-e-Nau scheme, they should always keep these things in mind, and during their when they go into the field, and also during their education, they should work like that, and they should prepare themselves with this thinking that this is the passion that we should have when we go into the field. there are a lot of Jamia students in front of me. They should immediately start thinking like that. Without that, we cannot actually propagate the religion. And if this is not done, then there will be nothing else but they would get worried when they go into the field. And there are some missionaries that when they were transferred from one place to another, they got so much worried that they excused themselves from the dedication, and they were relieved from that responsibility. So everyone should have a understanding and firm resolve to go through these difficulties. And particularly I am saying this to those who are students in Jamia, that they should fully consider these difficult situations right now. Nowadays, from among the Waqfin from various countries, not from the Waqfin, but there is a large number from, or at least some number is there. There is a good number of Waqfin students who are studying at this time in the Jamias of various countries. They should always, first they should remember the promise of their parents and their own promise, and the sacrifices of their elders of the Jamaat, and the desires of the expectations of the promised Messiah ﷺ. They should always keep that in mind. And considering all these things, the promise that they have made with Allah Almighty, they should do their best to fulfill their covenant and promise. This is the show of this promise is there, and this demonstration must always be there. It should be kept by all the devotees all the time. And also remember that there is a grace in the life of a muballigh and a missionary. Therefore, there should be modesty. Modesty is essential, but they should also take care of their dignity and grace, and the expression of their need should not be mentioned to anybody else. And as Maulvi Sahib has also mentioned, that always present your requirements and your need to Allah Almighty. I have got my personal experience. I have lived in Ghana. So Allah Almighty always arranges all the needs. Whatever you have to ask for, beg for, that beg from Allah Almighty. Go through the hardship and difficulty and destitute, but never ever let your grace and dignity fall down. And these things are, I am not telling all these things to the newcomers, but all those who are in the field, the old missionaries, and they should also remember. Sometimes they forget, and sometimes looking at the worldly people, their desires go on increasing. That every Murabbi in the sight of Allah, in the sight of the Jamaat, and in the sight of the members of the Jamaat, he is actually the representative of the Khalifa of the time. There should be nothing should be done by them which should bring a bad name to this whole institution and to the system. Sometime under the pressure of the wife and the children or others, sometime they show that Jamaat, according to their resources, according to their provisions, as far as possible, they are giving all the facilities and the comforts to the missionaries. But as in the world, you see, as the financial crisis is there, and particularly in the developing countries, in the poor countries, so despite all the effort, it is very difficult to stand against this inflation. But the devotee of life and a missionary, his dignity lies in the fact that he should not be mentioning these requirements and needs to anybody else. Whatever you have to say, cry before Allah Almighty and beg from Allah Almighty. I have given you the example of the old missionaries, and such examples are being shown even nowadays. But there are some people who, as I mentioned, sometimes they leave this institution of Waqf, looking at other people. When you expand your own needs, then this thing happens. So the difficulties increase further when you stretch out your hands and stretch out your needs and you mention it to other people. Either they will break their covenant of Waqf, or they would become, they come under the pressure of the loan. So living within your means is the dignity of a missionary. So therefore I also ask the wives of the missionaries that they should also create the quality of contentment in their hearts, and they should never demand from their husbands, which is difficult to fulfill. And a devotee of life becomes into a trial, comes into a difficult situation. So for the purpose for which they have devoted their life, and for this great struggle, these people, particularly the missionaries and the missionaries, they have offered themselves. The responsibility of their wives is that they should also be in this struggle, they should become their helper. A missionary and a murabbi, Hazrat Masih Maud Wasallam, they should always keep this instruction of the promised Messiah Wasallam. He said at the time of the beginning of the madrasa that this madrasa is for the means of the propagation of Islam, and such scholars and the devotees of life should come out of it. Those who should leave the worldly pursuits, and they should opt for the service of religion. And those who have knowledge of Arabic and theology, and those who have got a good standing in Arabic and religious knowledge, and after acquiring this knowledge, and they have the ability and the keenness and the desire of having this knowledge, Allah Almighty enable our muballighin and missionaries to keep all these things and to act upon all these things. And there are some other administrative type of things regarding the Waqf-e-Nau children. There is a large number of them. Those who are coming to Jamia Ahmadiyya, those who do not go to Jamia for the acquiring of religious knowledge, and such a large number of people are there. They go to other fields. Jamaat is in need of such a Waqfin as well. They should go to other fields as well. So at each stage of their education, the Waqfin now they should consult the markaz, the center, that now we have come to this point, what should we do, and to which side we should go. So now by the grace of Allah, 14,500 boys and girls are there, those who are above 15 nowadays. Altogether the number is 40,000 in this age. At this stage, they have to fill the forms of their devotion themselves, whether they want to continue with this commitment of devotion, dedication or not. Now this is the age of where they can decide for themselves. The age of maturity is there, and then after full consideration and pondering, they should decide whether they have to continue with it or not. First the parents, they made a decision, and now the children have to make their own decision. If they want to continue with that, then they should inform the markaz immediately and seek the guidance from markaz that what should we do. We are not going to Jamia, but these are our desires, and we are interested in such and such things. Please guide us which side we should go, and what education should we have. So maybe they should mention your desire and your liking, but it's very essential to inform the center. And then from time to time, the guidance will be given to all these students. As I said, the Secretariat Waqf Jadid, they should also need to be very active. And if they become active, and after getting the information from those Jamaats, they would inform the markaz, and then the markaz would tell them what sort of line they should adopt, whether they have to move forward or to offer the services to the center. The children of Waqf-e-Nau, they do not have to decide for themselves, nor their parents. If they have to decide for themselves, even then they should tell the markaz that this is my desire, this is my decision, and I do not want to remain in the Waqf-e-Nau, so that that name should be struck off the list of the Waqf-e-Nau children. Although the instruction so far is that after 15 years, when they fill the form of Waqf-e-Nau, then after that there is no way to go back on it. But now I open this way. After finishing their education, you write once again. And this is also the duty of the Secretariat Waqf-e-Nau to get this thing written by them. And the markaz should be informed about that we have finished this education up to this level. Now we want to continue our waqf and dedication or not. After from 15 years, the students who are above 15, about 10%, more than 1400 students, they are in the Jamia, and 90% of them, they are following the education of their own choice, or they have left the education they are having some technical skill